Yeah, it's time to talk about the Super Eagles victory, and Ida Peterside joins us to discuss that. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today. It appears as though that smile on your face was the kind that it must have been yesterday while you were watching the match, I reckon.
I'm not sure I've smiled like this in years. You know, it's not happened to us in years. And what a day we had yesterday against all expectations. A lot of people have written us off the national team. To see us win the way we did yesterday, again, against Egypt. Egypt have not lost a game in the last 24 matches they've played. So what a day. Just unbelievable. We're so excited.
You know, it was even such that while many were watching, they were still, it was kind of mixed feeling. Yes, very excited, but still in disbelief. Is this Super Eagles playing Egypt? How many times champions this way? Or like, wow, long may this feeling continue. Did you feel that way at all?
Yeah, I did, you know, because of what Ghana Draw has done to us. You know, Ghana Draw damaged our football, damaged our belief. You know, we were playing draws with teams like Sierra Leone, Car. We were not winning at home. We led 4-0 against Sierra Leone. You know, so we began to lose confidence in ourselves and in the team. You know, when the game started, we're all okay. Let's just score the first goal, then we'll begin to struggle. That's what we're used to doing. But what we saw yesterday was just unbelievable, you know, brought back joy to hearts and minds of people. You know, I've been receiving phone calls like I played the game. You know, people say Nigeria is back, as if we went somewhere all these years. Unbelievable. And then I spoke to the coach yesterday, fortunately for me. Spoke to the coach yesterday after the game. And, you know, he just couldn't say what. He was so excited himself.
Talk to us about that part. What is his mindset? Because, yeah, he had this post-match brief, but, of course, that didn't give us any window into his mindset. Because when he came in, people were not exactly sure. They thought, well, yeah, he's an ex-international, very good defender. He's coached before, but it's been a while. Is he rusty? What do we expect? What did you glean from, you know, when you spoke with him?
I've spoken to him. Again, there was a lot of consultation done before the appointment. Unfortunately for me, I was one of those that they spoke to. And there was no choice. You know, it was between himself and Amunike, who was going to coach the team. And he was closer to the team. All through in camp, he's always with the team. But every technical director in Nigeria is not respected. I say to the shame of the NFF, never respected. They just, you know, put in an office somewhere just to have a name. You know, the dependence has always been on a foreign coach. But there was no alternative, and he was the only person closer to the team 1 month to the AFCON. And when they brought him in, fortunately for me, I spoke to him, and all I just said to him was, let the team play well. No one is expecting you to do well. No one is expecting us to win the trophy, but let us play well. You know, when we were playing years ago, Shemali will agree with me, you know, there was a time Nigeria would play, you will hear, This was our signature tune to let the team know you are playing well. And once we started doing that, in the last 5 years, there's no game we have played, no game, I still say, no game we have played that the supporters club has been able to say, like I say, it's a signature tune that this team is playing well. That was what clipped us. So yesterday when we began to play, people were like, okay, what are we saying? The same players, different approach. You know, credit must go to him and his team. What they did yesterday was, I think they just worked on the psychic of the players. I just told them, there's this thing we used to say when we used to play, is that we are Nigeria. That one word, we are Nigeria. That one word changed everything, changed absolutely everything. They believed that we were superpowers, we were unbeatable. There was something about us. For the first time in 5 years, yesterday, we felt that way. That's just the difference. I saw the show when you started, the laughter in the studio, the joy. I'm not sure. We've had too many stories in Nigeria that for the first time, Nigerians were just happy. I'm not sure if it's been years since Nigerians were happy.
You'll have to forgive me, Mr. Peterside. I'm one of those people whose heart is connected directly to the Super Eagles, and I couldn't risk that heart being broken by having more oohs than A's, which I'm used to. But, looking at, the comments and then the highlights, it looked like, I mean, at some point I'm wondering, wait a minute, this cannot be the same Super Eagles that I have been afraid to watch over time. But what are some of those things? We'll talk about the administration to the shame of the NFF that you said earlier. We'll talk about that a little later. But speaking to the strategy that the team approached that match with, what are the takeaways for you that you believe we must sustain as a nature, not just a happenstance?
I think it's the belief that we are Nigeria. I still say the word again. There is something about us. People don't like us because of our arrogance. They don't like us because of our confidence. And everything we do as Nigerians, this is the key to our success as Nigerians, being in diaspora, being at home, is that there's this confidence about being Nigerian, and you hear them say, Nigeria did the carry last. I think that was what came into bear yesterday. So somebody would have told them, you are Nigerians. You are a Nigerian, go and be a Nigerian. And it just changed everything. Okay, there was an interview, I don't know if you guys had it. There was an interview done, the pre-match interview. They spoke to Ahmed Musa, who is obviously officially the captain. They spoke to Ahmed Musa and mentioned Salah. Once they mentioned Salah, Ahmed Musa said that our left winger that plays in Villarreal, trying to get his name now, he said in the conference, he said he's better than Salah. So I know people talk about Salah, but our left winger is better than Salah. Imagine that mindset. So you're sending a message. It's not all about Salah. We are Nigerians. We have what you have. We have Simon. We have this. We have this. So, and I think it just messed up the mind of Salah, because in the interview he said, I'm not going to discuss this and respect Musa and his opinion. And it showed yesterday that Nigeria became Nigeria. All we need to do to win this tournament, maybe that's too far, is just to believe. Because the players we have, the team we have, Ganadra messed up our national team. I'm sorry to say this, I keep saying it. I was in Russia during the World Cup and I cried. I almost had a heart attack because I said, this thing this man is doing here, I can do better, even though I'm not a professional coach. I think our confidence, what he did yesterday, and I spoke to him, like I said, he said, you told me that the players should play well, and I told them, Nigerians expect you to play well. And once we decided to play well, we're going to, everyone is already rating us as tournament favorites, just in one game.
Yes, I love that, absolutely. Tournament favorites. It's interesting we didn't go into the tournament as tournament favorites, but it's amazing what one match can do. But let me quickly jump ahead, because you talked about the era of the previous coach. Now we have a new coach, and we're seeing what Oscar Gavoin is doing. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but just to know your thinking regarding that. Would we still have a need for a new coach, seeing what the current coach, as it were, is doing?
It's too early. It's too early to decide that. Nigerians were like yo-yo. If we play against Sudan and Sudan shocks us, the people will say, "Oh, Gavoin should take the next plane and go back to Benin." That's how we are in Nigeria. So I think it's too early. Let's see how the team progresses. If we get to the semifinals, again, the good thing about it, Pesero has not signed his contract. I can say that. He's been appointed as the coach. They expect him to come to Nigeria to sign the contract to officially be the national team coach. If Gavoin gets to the semifinals playing like this, we will stop the plane from taking off from Portugal. That's just what I need to say. The plane will not take off. That plane carrying Pesero will not take off from Portugal. We will stop it. Okay, so it's too early to judge. Let the players continue. Let them not lose their concentration. Let them play against Sudan. The next game is Sudan. Once we win Sudan, we've qualified for the next stage, we'll take it from there. I think it's too early.
Yeah, and I think I like how Osne Guavoin spoke about it when he says, look, every match is a final for us. We will take every match like that. I think that's one of the best approach you can ever have. Don't look at it. I think he might be learning from their own experience while he was in the World Cup and in the team. They were looking ahead of, I think it was Denmark. And so hopefully we would have learned from that. But talk about a team dynamic. Because looking at that team, you just, whoa. We were just playing good, but not breaking down. How are they even connected? Because, yes, we saw that Didi was there. I think he just held on, which allowed Aribo to help link up between Awoniyi, Iheanacho, Chukwueze. So talk about the dynamics and what you saw, how fluid the team eventually became. What made them tick?
I think Aribo changed. Aribo was my man of the game. I know a lot of people say Simon played well, but we've never had that holding and connecting player. We've lacked it. You know, we've had Didi, but Didi's not been able to supply the balls to the forward line. Aribo came yesterday, you know, very slicky guy, and he was able to hold the ball. He was able to spray those passes, you know, and Didi did well defending behind him. I think that's where it was. And we went back to the original wing play. Okay, in the whole world, nobody plays wing play anymore. Even if you play wing play, you play with one. Even in the Premiership, you see they will move one player to the left or move one player to the right. But the confusion yesterday was that we were playing Chukwueze. We were playing Chukwueze on the right and Simon on the left. And they were supposed to be the other way. So we had two wingers, and it's not what is played anymore. Now, what would happen is that Salah would go to one part of the pitch, which is the right side, and stay. But they brought Chukwueze there. Now, he expected somebody to be on him. He expected somebody to mark him. But with the Chukwueze they brought there, it's an attacker, which forced Salah to come and defend. He doesn't defend, he just stays. So when they brought these two wingers that could, you know, bomb those two wings, Salah needed to help his team. So he would always come back and defend. And once he comes to defend, a ball is put behind, he can run. You know, so his first shot was 67 minutes with the goalkeeper saving. For Salah, 67 minutes was his first shot. And I think that was what it was, a massive tactical move that they could not understand. And they had a Wuni, again, great play from him. Big, strong, natural striker. Big Iheanacho just played off him, played behind him. Large guy, this guy is a King Kong. And so he could muscle, look at him there. He could just muscle the Egyptian defense and they couldn't move forward. What the Egyptians do, they pass the ball and you see the holding midfielder join the attack. They couldn't yesterday because of Awoniyi. So in the tactic, they got it so right. We're praising them. We want to see what they do with minnows like Sudan. That is where you'll be exposed. If a minnow comes now, they will get relaxed, and the Sudan now gets, you know, motivated. They're going to draw. Let's go play the Super Eagles. That's where we want to see how they're going to handle it.
And speaking of that match against Sudan, you know, while we're celebrating and all, Sudan is watching our match. They're looking at those areas, those loopholes per se. It's just 3 days to that match. So, yes, we know what we did right, but what about the things we probably can improve upon? Because, I mean, I saw Moses Simon trying to connect. I mean, all the dribbles, but still trying to connect. It proved a bit challenging. Chukwueze on the other side, too, looked like there were a few challenges there. So, in addition to those ones, what are those areas we need to improve upon?
Again, you're so right. I didn't know you know football that much. You know, but I think they carried the ball for too long. You know, they carried the ball for too long. We saw Simon, sometimes Simon should have squared the ball. Instead of squaring the ball, he went for the kill. We saw Ejuke too, he did that twice. You know, sometimes the players need to be patient enough to raise up their head and see what next to do. Our formation yesterday was absolutely right. Like I said, Sudan are, forgive me the word, almost like non-entities. We don't know them. We don't know any of their players. This is where the challenge comes. How do you plan Do you plan with the opposition or do you plan your own game plan? This is where we will see a reverse tactics. Is he going to play off Sudan's game we saw yesterday, or is he going to say, we are Super Eagles, which is what the big teams do. The big teams hardly plan based on the opponent. They plan based on their potential and what they're able to do. So we're hoping that everyone will say, we are Nigeria. Let's go and win this game. As simple as that, tactics, formation will come depending on how the game goes. If 10 minutes you score one goal, second, 20 minutes you score the second goal, everything changes. The players will now more relax and just begin to play the African style.
Well, Markwe also knows football,
yep.
So she's got some questions for you as well. Markwe?
I hope that these questions are received well. But, you know, speaking of the energy, which the coach did say, and a lot of people said they did feel the energy on the pitch yesterday from even the supporters. I'm wondering what you make of us being able to sustain it. If we're going to be playing every match like a final, it means that we need to keep up our energy. And then there are questions as to our substitute players. Do we have enough to be able to sustain the tempo? And if one of our, players is down, do we have, people playing in key positions to be able to sustain the tempo of the game which we've started?
Yes, I think so. You see, the rules just changed with this tournament. What they've done, they allowed 28 players to be registered instead of the normal 23 players. So they added 5 more players because of the COVID. And the changes have been increased from the original 3 to 4 players that can be replaced. We saw what happened yesterday. Omera got injured while the replacement. We still have a lot of young guys on the bench. This is the beauty of this team. There are players we've not heard of. There are players like the young man playing in South Africa for Pirates. He's an unbelievable defender. He's one of the top in Africa. We didn't see him, Olisenda. We didn't see him play yesterday. I think we do have. Every tournament is called the 6-match tournament. That's what you call it. They call it a 6-match tournament. Now, you should be able to play 6 matches. Now, those 6 matches takes you to the cup. So why wouldn't you? These are professionals. So the first 3 games from the group stage, you get into the 16, you get into the quarterfinals, you get to the semifinals, you are there already. So they should be able to sustain. They should be. And what you do, you try to win the second game because they won the first game. Now, once you win the second game, you've qualified. What you do, you rest your players. You rest your top players, or you just give them 15 minutes, 10 minutes, just to limber off. But you need to win the second game. The third game is now almost a formality. You rest players so that the players can have more energy to play in the last 16. So
Oh no, it looks like he's frozen now, and that's
the momentum will be there.
Not keeping up the energy with which it started. But I think basically the question there has been answered. One thing we cannot forget, okay, I understand that Mr. Peterside is back, but, and I think you already answered sufficiently the question which I was asking you. But one thing, I'm sure stands out for a lot of women is the aesthetics. First, the jersey of the Super Eagles. And I know that we sometimes associate lock with the color of the jersey which they pick. I do not know if you have anything to say about that, but they certainly did look good in olive green.
Yeah, well, it's our green. Our green is always a big-time jersey. Even while we were playing, we had the white and we had the green. Most times, every time Nigeria played with white, they say we never win games. And so you will see the sequence will be mostly they will use the green jerseys, but it depends on the groupings too. If you play a team that uses white and you are playing away, that's the law. If you meet a team that is playing at home and they're using a white jersey, automatically you must change. But if you're playing at home, then you have the first right to use the jersey you prefer. The green won Egypt, so we stick to the green.
All right, nice one. But looking at that team as well, I know you spoke about resting the main players, but two things. First is, when the changes were made, it didn't appear as though that bench was, as strong as the game started. Well, who knows? Maybe it might be a little different when the next game comes on because, Ajuke was excellent. It was electric. And then in addition to that, also respond to keeping. That's your expertise. How good can Okoye be? What kind of confidence do you see him transmitting to the team covering from behind?
And we saw him make one save, and that's how bad the Egyptians, how we made them look bad, because he only made one save. He used his leg to. He's a big lad, he's about 6'4". That's how large he is, and he's the #1 goalkeeper. For him to have signed for Watford from Rotterdam, it means that there is something about him. The games will come to expose him. One of the things that I didn't like too well about him yesterday is the ability to come and deal with those crosses. I think that is his biggest challenge. Ozoho is better in dealing with crosses than Okoye, but sometimes it's about luck. There are games you will play and you will not save a goal because there's an aura. I was a goalkeeper, that's what they say. This goalkeeper tracks balls or this goalkeeper repels balls. So yesterday, we think he repelled some and he did not concede a goal. Every goalkeeper's greatest desire is, we call it the zero, the clean sheet. We got one yesterday, and as more as you keep getting clean sheets, you are looked at as a great goalkeeper.
Well, something you said earlier that I don't think we should leave without talking about, and that's the NFF. And you said to the shame of the NFF. I don't know what you mean by that. You may want to speak to that. But speak to what needs to be done or not done to ensure that the energy with which the Super Eagles started is sustained. The NFF, I mean.
Well, the NFF story is legendary. The man Pinnick, for me, has done well. He's done well as an individual. He has the mind of a businessman, but his flaws would be, a lot of people say he doesn't carry people along. He takes he takes decisions on himself alone. But the thing about football is you win games. Once you win games, people forget your secrecies or your faults. The football is just bigger than the Super Eagles. There has to be a trickle down. There has to be a trickle down to the league, to the local levels, which is where people are complaining. A lot of complaint is that there is nothing to show, especially in the local league. There is nothing to show in development. You see, all the players we have except the goalkeeper, the fourth goalkeeper plays in the local league. It's unacceptable. We need to make the league competitive enough for people to come back to the stadiums. People have said television is destroying the games, but no. If it's viable, if the match is local league games. I went to watch a game. I'm in Port Harcourt as I speak to you. I'm on holiday, and I went to watch Sunshine Stars and Rivers United. We were not up to 300 people in the stadium, and it's so painful to see that. What do we do? Now it has to rest on the NFF to say, what are we not doing right? Let's bring people back to the stadium. Let's go back to development. Let's begin to go back to grassroots. We've not done that. We've not done that. I think we must go back and say, in a year, we've been able to produce 6, 7 under 17s, under 20s, and the local league is producing people to the national team. We've not done that. I think when we begin to do that, then we will say there's a lot of changes.
Well, it's a 6-match final, so this is our own first part of the analysis of the first final. So we're hoping and looking forward to going all the way to the end, and of course, hopefully that will have you on all through. Thank you very much indeed for your perspective this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you.